Alright guys, new solo leveling a rise video. I'm glad to start my new series, the Haunter Guide series. So I hope you guys gonna enjoy it. Today's video is about Choi, and I'll be uploading a new video about each haunter every day. So stay tuned for that and let me know in the comments who you want to see next. Let's jump right into it. So my Choi is currently level 73, A10, so fully maxed out weapon 2. I'll make a quick presentation, tell why he's good, where he's used, and where he's not. And then I'll show the artifacts and I'll talk about his weapons, like if you don't have the exclusive one, which one you could use. So, he's currently the best fair DPS of the game right now. He's great for clearing most content, honestly. Battlefield of Trials, Story, Gates, even Battlefield of Time timers. Like, he's great to go pretty fast in those. So he's honestly the most complete hunter after Sail, most likely. The only region he doesn't shine is probably Cerberus, because obviously Cerberus is immune to fire, like not immune, but you get what I mean. So that's probably the only content you wouldn't use him in, and that's pretty much it. Let's jump right into the skills. What I like about Choi is that his skills are pretty basic and like straightforward to understand, but are still very effective. So I'll show what I mean by that. So basic attack, nothing crazy, just fire elemental damage like any of his skills. The core attack though is way more interesting. Deals damage, inflicts burn, sorry, which deals damage equal to 50% of the user's attack every 3 seconds for a duration of 15 seconds. So it's damage over time, which is always good on a boss, right? The basic skills don't have any effect except airborne, which is pretty basic effects as well. It just does a lot of damage, same damage percentage on both. The support skill, so when you use Jinwoo, when you have him as a support, he also inflicts burn, same thing, and decreases the defense by 15% for 15 seconds. This is huge. You know, whenever you decrease defense, you see that your damage will be way bigger. QT skill, same effects as the support skill, so whenever you QT in with Choi, you'll inflict burn and defense decrease 15% for 15 seconds. Where it gets interesting, in my opinion, is the ult. So the ult itself doesn't have anything in particular except airborne and like big damage, right? But it's in the passive that will have the interesting stuff. Just as the rest of his kit, his passive is pretty straightforward. One thing to know though is that he can't crit, so it's written in his passive, he can't crit but increases his own attack by 40%. So whenever you're gonna build him, you don't want to go for crits, you don't want to go for like crit rolls and all that. It's not gonna work, right? So when I was talking about his ult being his main thing, right, is because of this. When he uses his ult, applies the whole ultimate hunter effect, which resets his cooldowns of the basic skills, right? And increase the user's attack and defense span by 12% for 15 seconds. So before his ult, you'll do great damage. After his ult, you'll do crazy damage with him, right? He just becomes a beast. Let's check his advancements passives, right? So whenever you get dupes for him, what do you get? The damage of Rain of Flames is increased by three times, sorry, right? During the duration of the Ultimate Hunter, and the skill is changed to Mega Crater. So this skill here, Rain of Flames, becomes huge. Like, it becomes your main source of damage whenever you're not ulting, right? And even after ulting, it becomes Mega Crater, and it's huge damage. Advancement 2, usually Advancement 2 and 4 are the least useful on each Hunter, right? And the biggest ones are 1, 3, 5. Increases the user's attack by 8%. It's great, don't get me wrong, but it's a bit below the other ones. A3 is where you want to go, in my opinion. Like, if you can, I think you want to go all the way to A3 with Choi. A1 is like the minimum, I would say, for him, because the A1 is just crazy. A3 is like even better, and A5 is like good, but you don't really need that much, right? So increases damage of end of days by 50%, so you just get a straight up 50% damage increase on your ult, which is just crazy. A4 as I said, not always the best. Increase the user's burn damage by 100%. So it doubles the burn damage. I think it's probably the worst of his 5 advancements passives, but I mean, he can't be great everywhere, right? So while tagging out, the cooldown of end of days passes 3 times faster and recovers power gauge by 0.5% every seconds. So it's good, right, if you want to cycle his ult faster, right? But you don't, it's not something that you want to like go for and like chase, especially not if you're free to play. Like if you're free to play, going for A1 is more than enough in my opinion. If you're spending a bit, like I said, A3 is great. So when I talked to you guys about Burn earlier, I told you there was something else to it, and it's because of his exclusive weapon. So what his exclusive weapon does is it increases his own attack by a certain amount based on your dupes, but it also decreases the target's defense by a certain amount if you burn him, right? So burn is not only to deal damage, it also decreases the defense. And good thing to know, if you cute his skill in with Choi, which does defense down and burn, it will apply 2 defense down debuffs. So you will not decrease it by just 15%, you'll decrease it by 15% and the amount from the weapon. Good thing to know, if you don't have his exclusive weapon because you didn't get it from the event or any of this, I think the book, the SR book, is great for him to get power gauge faster, right? So that's the good alternative in my opinion. So let's check out his artifacts now. Choi has not so many options in terms of artifacts in my opinion, at least from what I've tried. I only came with 2 builds being very good. The first one being half armed, half one hit kill. I would only run that if you have a 3 or more Choi, right? So if you have the ult boosted passive, I would run this so you deal even more damage on the ult and you still have the extra 5% attack. So one hit kill gives you increased damage from ultimate skill by 25%, and then armed gives you another 5% attack, right? So that's what I would run if you have A3 plus Choi. If you have it below that, I would just run full armed, right? So increase the user's attack by 5%, and also when attacking ignores 15% of the target's defense and attacks. So that, I think that's the main thing I would do, right? Just if you are above A3, I would go for one hit kill and armed. If you're below that, just go full armed. It will do great anyways, right? For the jewelry set though, I don't think there's much options, as a Viridescent set is, in my opinion, the best one. I was wrong about Viridescent set for a long time, as I thought it would only, like the damage increase was only for, here. The damage increase here was only for the basic skills, but it's not. If you read it correctly, it increases skill MP consumption rate by 20%, but increases damage dealt by 5%. It's not basic skills or basic attack or ultimate, it's every damage dealt. So, and I didn't know that, right? So I thought just it increases your basic skills damage. So for Choi, I was like, you use his skills, right, but you don't use them that much. So I don't know if it's worth losing the executioner set, for example, bonus, right? But it turns out it's everything that is boosted. So it's just great because you get a free 18% damage increase and a cooldown reduction on your basic skills, but you lose more mana. But honestly, mana isn't a problem on Choi, so I feel like it's a great trade, right? So a very decent set. I feel like it's the best you could get. In terms of substats, right? You mainly want additional attack percentage, MP consumption reduction. I guess you could want it. It's not bad. But what you want is death pen as well as damage increase. So the 4 stats you want on every piece to make the perfect build would be additional attack percentage, defense penetration, and damage increase. If you have that on all of your pieces, your Choi will be an absolute god. And I think that's about it for the builds, because I don't think you could run anything else. Like, I've seen some destroyer sets, but in my opinion, it's like not so good. And like for the jewelry set, I guess you could run Executioner, but now that I know that Very Decent gives you automatically 18% more damage without any HP condition, because here it's 20% more damage, but the HP condition is 70%, right? So you trade 2% of damage increase or that just to not have any HP conditions, and I think it's much better in my opinion. So I think that's it for the overall presentation of the build, right? And I'll show you guys how it's done in gameplay. Alright, so one thing I wanted to mention first is I wouldn't run Choi. Right now I'm running Choi as a front hunter, right, as the first one, but I wouldn't do that in general, because you want to be able to get in the fight with the QT skill to inflict that burn damage and get that passive right. And also, whenever you go in with the QT skill, you get 2 defense down debuffs, as I explained it to you earlier. So that's one thing I wanted to mention. I would rather use Choi as a secondary hunter, or like third, right? So you just go in, apply the 2 debuffs, and then you can use your skills to deal huge damage, right? Just like that. Because if not, you have to charge your core attack, which is a bit of a pain. Like you don't really want to lose time doing that, because it kind of takes a while, even though you have the skills cooldown reduced. He has pretty big cooldowns, and as I was saying, I don't have my cooldowns right now, right? Like I don't have my skills active. I use my ult and you automatically get your skills, and then you deal huge damage. Like the ult deals so much damage, it's actually insane. And as you can see on the bottom of my screen, there's the ultimate hunter icon that was running, and it will be there as long as you have it active, so that you can see whenever you lose your attack boost, right? And I think that's it for Choi's presentation. If you liked the video, let me know in the comments, and let me know which hunter you want to see next. Hope you enjoyed it. I'll see you in my next one. See ya.